All I ever wanted was to touch eternity for an instant. To reach one of those rare moments of bliss, where everything seems in its place and you feel you're part of a whole. Do you know what I mean?
Gaming is somewhere where we go to escape our reality, most of the time. Gaming is somewhere where I can slay dragons, I can survive irradiated wastelands, I can go through portals and fight aliens on their homeworld. I can do all these things because gaming allows that. It's an escape. And it just so happens in a game called Cairn, or Cairn, as people pronounce it. Yeah, I have done a bit of rock climbing, and I know what it feels like to be on the face of a rock and just being looking down, and you can feel your end just, a bit too close sometimes, and you get that feeling in your stomach, that tight feeling, and it's like, whoa, I am seconds away from death, and yet I've got a safety rope, so I know I'm kind of alright, but it still gives you this amazing rush. Climbing is a really strange thing in gaming because we do it all the time in games like Horizon, in games like Uncharted or Zelda. We're climbing all over the place, and yet most of the time in games like Assassin's Creed, it's kind of like prescripted, it's refined, it's automated almost, it just does it for you. And when a game comes along that actually asks you to think about how you're climbing and where you're putting your feet and your hands, it is a far different experience than what we're used to. So I was thinking back about games that I've played that are actually dedicated towards rock climbing and the experience of climbing. And I think the closest thing I've ever been is Death Stranding. Now obviously there is climbing in Death Stranding, but it's more about going forward across these really detailed topographic maps where every bump has to be considered, and you've got this struggle with the terrain that is almost a character in itself. In fact, it's probably the main character in Death Stranding, and so it really did make me feel like I was playing that but going up. So how do you take a sport or a pastime that is so physical and emotional like this and transfer it into a game where someone's going to be sat in a room, probably relatively comfortable, with a controller in their hand? How do you convey that feeling of terror, that feeling of exhilaration, when you're completely pumped, when you've just ascended a rock face and you get to the top and you look over that vista? How do you get that into a game? Well, the French developers at the Game Bakers think they have the answer.
Are you ready for Cammy?
So the climbing is the meat and potatoes of this game. It's the main thing you'll be doing throughout. The way you do it is you select each limb, you move your hand or your leg into a foothold or a handhold, and as soon as you press X, the game will then auto detect which is best next. So maybe your right hand or maybe your right foot, and that's the one that becomes active, and then you move that into the place you want it to be. Hopefully into a foothold or some type of ledge, and you'll get to know when you've got a really good hold, and then you can move to the next one. Now there will be times when the game just isn't selecting the best limb for that situation, and so you can actually manually hold the right shoulder button, I believe it is, and then select a limb manually. And this has saved me quite a few times because the game would have just let me fall. So don't be afraid to take charge and just follow your instincts.
That I'm always with you, you know? She says from her couch. Anyways, that's all I had, sweetie. Hang in there.
Good thing you don't know about the bears. You wouldn't have let me leave.
So the thing that is the most beautiful about this game is also probably the most frustrating, and that is the fact that there are no set paths forward. There are some guides that kind of hint you in different directions, and if you look at a certain view on the map, it will give you coloured routes, but these are very much a guide. You can literally climb anywhere if you can find footholds and handholds, but there are no highlighted ledges or bird shit showing you this one's a safe one. None of that is in place that you see in other games. This is very much the onus is on you to find the route and then engage with it and make it work. Now, there are some things that rock climbers will know you use, like chalk. You put chalk on your hands to keep your hands dry and keep a grip of the rock. It doesn't last very long, actually. It lasts like 12 or 14 handholds and then it's gone. Now, you get space for 3 uses of chalk, but you can actually get your bot, your little mini bot, to recycle rubbish, and then this makes new chalk. I personally don't think the bag holds enough chalk. I would have liked 5 or 6 uses of it because it is very handy, no pun intended. And yeah, you tend to run out of it quite fast. And if you've used all your pitons, which are your spikes you hammer into the wall as like a safe spot, then you can end up having to give up and abseil back down and start again. So I think that's something like I'm hinting at already, but yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning. This game can be brutally hard, and you can end up spending like an hour trying to climb the same spot. You can see the route forward. It's so frustrating. You know you can do it, but you'll just one little slip and that's it. You're down, and for some reason you just can't get back up. And then the rain will come, or there'll be fog. You'll start to freeze because the night's come and everything's against you. Your fingers are bleeding, your feet are bleeding, and yeah, it can get in a situation where you feel like there's no way forward. But I guess that is kind of like what you can end up in a real situation, is that if things go wrong, they can go really wrong very fast, and that is one of the elements of rock climbing, especially this more extreme version of rock climbing which we're seeing in this game. So there is another element to this game I'd feel is a little bit too vague, and that is how the character holds on to ledges, because sometimes I've been holding onto a ledge with both hands and maybe had like one foot in a really good hold, and then you'll see your character start to shake. You know, her legs are shaking like a shitting dog, and you know you're about to drop, and you're like, hang on, I'm holding on to the handholds here. I know I've got a good grip, so why is my stamina going down? And I think what I want is just a better understanding of how grip is affecting my stamina, and a bit more of an idea of how much I've got left. I mean, there are audio and visual clues as to what's happening. So your colour of your screen will change. Like I said, your legs will shake. You can hear a breathing change. So these are all things they're conveying to you, but it's not really that what I'm looking for. I'm looking to understand more the quality of each grip and how they will affect stamina. And it's not always obvious, and a grip will look like a proper ledge, and you'll see like her hand go around the ledge, so you can see like a really good grip. And sometimes that doesn't seem to be enough, and I don't really understand why. So I'd like to understand more about that. So the climbing is part of the game, but it's also interwoven with survival elements, which I really like because it makes you feel like you're getting a complete survival climbing experience. So you find these safe spots, and once you're there you can get into your bivouac, which is like your tent, and you've got all these options open to you. So for example, you can use tape, which you found, to tape your fingers up, because as you're climbing in real life you do get little cuts and grazes, and your fingers do like take a lot of damage. So this tape helps you keep your grip and keeps your fingers in like a better condition. You can also use your robot to repair pitons, which will break if you don't put them in properly. You'll pick up the scraps and then you can make new ones out of that. So that's another use for your robot. You can also use the cooking facilities. You've got a little stove, and this is really cool actually. You can find all kinds of ingredients on the mountain. You've got mushrooms, you've got thistles, you've got nettles. You can combine them with your water to make like a tea that then gives you like a boost when you're climbing. You can make more substantial meals, like you can find dried noodles or vegetables on the mountain. Like you might find an old backpack that somebody left. And there's just all different kinds of combinations. You can even find fish up on the mountain in little pools. You catch the fish, you take them back to your stove, and you can cook the fish and then add like herbs to give them even like more qualities. So yeah, I love all of this survival stuff because it really does fit with the theme of the game.
Oh, right now? Are you serious? You couldn't wait? Go on, go ahead. Play your damn message.
Hi, Ava. It's 7 in the morning here. I just wanted to send you a little message to see if you were okay. Things aren't great here. I had to take Capsule back to the vet. They gave him a new treatment, but he has to take pills every day. I'm hiding them in his food, but...
So you play as Ava. She is probably in her mid-40s, I'd say. She's obviously had a lifetime of climbing, and this feels like her biggest challenge yet in her life, maybe her last as well. This mountain has never been climbed to the summit. Mount Kami has never been beaten. So this seems like something that lots of people have tried and either backed out and retreated or never come off the mountain entirely. So this is a big undertaking, and it feels like things aren't great back in her life at home. Like she's got this agent who's obviously mithering her all the way up the mountain and getting increasingly angry that she won't call him back. She's got a girlfriend who's contacting her. At first it seems quite loving relationship, but as it progresses, things are not great, and it's obvious that Ava's climbing is becoming a bit of a problem, as in almost like an obsession maybe. I don't want to go into too many more details, so I don't want to spoil any plot stories, but you do meet actual physical people on the mountain as well. You come across other individuals. Like I said, I won't say how that comes up or what it is, but yeah, it's not a game where you're in complete isolation. I don't particularly like Ava as a character. She's very harsh, and she seems like she's just constantly irritated by everyone around her. And I think I would find her quite intense in real life. And while I can relate to some things she's going through, I think she's very snidey with her girlfriend and with other people. So yeah, she comes across as quite an annoying character actually. But it's not a really big part of the game. It's just an additional layer they've placed into the game, and I think I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they've made it into a game that's got more elements to it. So I guess the question is, do I recommend Cairn to anybody? And the answer to that question is very easy. Yes, absolutely. This is one of the best indie games, well, probably the best indie game to come out this year so far for myself. I know we're only in February now, but yeah, this is a really good, strong start to the indie scene. And it's a game that you won't find anywhere else. I think the nearest thing you're going to find to this is a game called Jasant, which I haven't played, but now I might actually take a look at that as well. So if you're up for a challenge, this game is definitely one to pick up. And like most indie games, it comes out at a very reasonable price on Steam at the moment. So yeah, go and take a look at it. There is a demo as well if you are still on the edge. But honestly, I just pick it up because I think developers like this, they deserve some recognition. And the best way you can do that is to give them some money. If you're still here, thank you for watching my review of Cairn. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's provided you with enough information to make a good choice whether to buy it or not. The channel's also picking up steam now, getting new subscribers every day, and I've been really happy with the comments as well. People are making comments and just having, starting conversations, and I love all that. So please, if you've got anything to say, Any feedback, any criticisms, anything you want to get off your chest, yeah, fire away in the comments and I'll have a good chat. My next review, I'm not exactly sure. I've got a few projects on the go now, so just depends on which one gets finished first. But yeah, keep checking by and there should be new content within days. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you're all well and take care.